There is a specific kind of panic you feel when your child is screaming in pain and you are the only parent around. It's a cold, sharp feeling in your chest. My 6-year-old daughter, Lily, had just fallen off the monkey bars at the park. Her arm was bent at an angle that made me want to vomit. I was in the ambulance, holding her good hand. My hands were covered in sweat and tears. I called my husband, David. Straight to voicemail. I called again. Voicemail. There is a specific kind of panic you feel when your child is screaming in pain and you are the only parent around. It's a cold, sharp feeling in your chest. My 6-year-old daughter, Lily, had just fallen off the monkey bars at the park. Her arm was bent at an angle that made me want to vomit. I was in the ambulance, holding her good hand. My hands were covered in sweat and tears. I called my husband, David. Straight to voicemail. I called again. Voicemail. The map loaded. I zoomed out, looking for the dot in Chicago. It wasn't there. I scrolled down. I zoomed in on our city. The blue dot was glowing. He wasn't 300 miles away. He was 6 miles away, in a neighborhood called Oak Creek. I stared at that dot for 10 minutes. Maybe he came home early to surprise us. Maybe he was buying supplies. But the dot didn't move. It was stationary at a house on a cul-de-sac. It was 10 p.m. on a Tuesday. That blue dot destroyed my life. I'm 32. David is 36. We've been married for 7 years. Our dynamic has always been the hustle. David is ambitious. When he got the promotion to regional manager 5 years ago, we sat down and discussed it. It meant he would be gone Monday to Friday. It meant I would be a single mom during the week. But the money was incredible. We paid off our student loans. We bought a nice house. I drive a nice car. I trusted him implicitly. He would FaceTime me every night from his apartment. The background was always a plain white wall with a generic abstract painting. He complained about the lonely hotel life, about eating takeout alone, about missing us. I felt guilty. I felt like he was the one suffering for us. Back to the ER. They set Lily's arm. She fell asleep on the gurney. My mom came to sit with her so I could go home and get some rest. I didn't go home. I got in my car and I drove to the blue dot. It was a nice neighborhood, upper middle class, the kind of place with manicured lawns and basketball hoops in the driveways. I pulled up to the address. It was a 2-story brick house. David's car, his company SUV, was in the driveway, and next to it was a minivan with a stick figure family sticker on the back. Dad, Mom, and 2 kids. I walked up to the front door. My adrenaline was so high I couldn't feel my legs. It felt like I was floating. I didn't knock. I looked through the side window. The curtains were open. Inside, I saw David. He was wearing his pajamas, the plaid ones I bought him for Christmas. He was sitting on the couch, but he wasn't alone. A woman was sitting next to him, her head on his shoulder. They were watching TV, and playing on the floor in front of them was a toddler, a boy, maybe 2 years old. David leaned down and picked up the boy. He kissed his forehead. He looked comfortable. He looked like a man in his own home. I don't know what possessed me. Maybe it was the shock. Maybe it was the rage. I rang the doorbell repeatedly. I saw them jump. David looked terrified. He stood up and motioned for the woman to stay seated. He walked to the door. He opened it, expecting a neighbor or a delivery. When he saw me, his soul left his body. He tried to slam the door. "What are you doing here? Go to the car," he hissed. But I didn't go. I pushed past him. I screamed, "Who is she, David?" The woman in the living room stood up. She looked confused, not guilty. She walked into the hallway. She looked at me, then at David. "David," she asked, "who is this?" I looked her dead in the eye. "I'm his wife. Who are you?" She blinked. She didn't scream. She just said very quietly, "No, I'm his wife." We stood there in a triangle of horror. David was hyperventilating against the door. The woman, her name is Monica, walked over to the wall and pulled down a picture frame. She turned it to face me. It was a wedding photo. David and Monica, dated 4 years ago. He didn't just have a girlfriend. He was a bigamist. He had 2 legal marriages, or so he thought, 2 families, and he had been playing regional manager to shuffle between us. I threw up on their hallway rug. The last 48 hours have been a blur of lawyers, police, and tears. But here's the twist you probably weren't expecting. Usually in these stories, the 2 women fight. The mistress blames the wife blames the mistress. That didn't happen. Once the initial screaming stopped that night, Monica realized something. She looked at David and asked, "You said you work in sales in my city, so where do you go on weekends?" David told Monica he worked weekends as a consultant. He told me he worked weekdays in Chicago. He had split his week perfectly, Sunday to Thursday with Monica, Friday to Sunday with me. Monica told David to get out. She threatened to call the cops if he didn't leave immediately. He left. He drove off in his company car to a hotel. Then Monica made me coffee. We sat in her kitchen until 4 a.m. We compared notes. It was sickeningly impressive how organized he was. He had 2 phones. He had 2 bank accounts. He told Monica I was his crazy ex-girlfriend who stalked him sometimes, just in case I ever showed up. He told me Monica didn't exist. But here's where it gets illegal. Monica is wealthy. She inherited a chain of dry cleaners from her father. She owns her house outright. I checked our joint finances. Over the last 4 years, our savings have been stagnant, but David always said it was because of market fluctuations and his travel expenses. It turns out, David wasn't supporting 2 households. Monica was supporting him during the week, and I was supporting him during the weekend. He was skimming money from Monica to buy me gifts, and skimming money from me to buy Monica dinners. It was a Ponzi scheme of affection. Monica looked at me and said, "I have a very aggressive lawyer. Do you want his number?" I said yes. We decided right then and there we aren't just divorcing him. We are going to dismantle him. We found out that bigamy, being married to 2 people, is a felony in our state. But David was smart. He never actually filed the marriage certificate with the state for his wedding to Monica. He had a ceremony, a pastor, a party, but forgot to mail the license. So legally, he's not a bigamist. He's just a fraudster. Monica is devastated. She thought she was married for 4 years. Her son, David, is the father, but legally the child is illegitimate, though that doesn't matter for support. Here is our plan. I'm filing for divorce on grounds of adultery and financial abuse. Monica is suing him for fraud, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and repayment of loans she gave him, which she was smart enough to document. We are contacting his company. Oh yes, the job. Remember he's a regional manager? We called his HR department yesterday. Guess what? He's not a regional manager. He's a mid-level sales rep. He doesn't have to travel. His territory is local. He's been taking remote work days and lying about his location for 5 years. He's been claiming per diem expenses for trips he never took. We sent the evidence to his boss, the GPS logs, the photos of him playing house 10 minutes away when he billed the company for a hotel in Chicago. He is currently suspended pending investigation. David has been texting me nonstop. "Please, let me explain. I love you both. I couldn't choose. It got out of hand. Don't ruin my career. Think of Lily." I blocked him. Monica and I have a group chat now. It's called the Ex-Wives Club. David requested a mediation meeting. He wanted to settle this like adults before the courts got involved. My lawyer said we didn't have to go, but honestly, I wanted to see him squirm. Monica wanted to come too. David's lawyer tried to object, but we said it's both of us or neither. We walked into the conference room. David looked like he hadn't slept in a week. He was unshaven, wearing wrinkled clothes. When he saw Monica and I walk in together, wearing matching colors, unplanned but amazing, he flinched. He started with a sob story.
I was lonely. I met Monica when you were busy with the baby. I didn't want to hurt anyone. I was going to end it with her soon." Monica laughed out loud. "End it? We were looking at vacation homes last week, David." Then the financial forensics came out. My lawyer slid a piece of paper across the table. David had taken out a second mortgage on my house by forging my signature to pay for a failed investment Monica knew nothing about. He had also opened credit cards in Monica's name to pay for my car repairs. He wasn't just a cheater, he was a parasite. He was drowning in debt, shuffling money between two women to keep the illusion of being a successful provider. His lawyer looked at the documents, looked at David, and literally closed his folder. His lawyer said, "You didn't tell me about the forgery, David." David stammered. His lawyer said, "I can't represent you if you lie to me about criminal acts." His lawyer